So what I wanted to do tonight, aside from just like screwing around with NHL 4 in the first place, I just wanted to do some dumb stuff because why not? Especially with NHL 24 being in a weird spot. So the first dumb thing that I wanted to do was not to go to Dynasty mode because I'll get hooked into that, but we'll go to Dynasty mode in a little bit, Chad, I promise. I wanted to go to Season mode. And just do a 1-year fantasy draft and see, like, hey, can I win a Stanley Cup? That's kind of my game plan here. I want to see, as a 1-season challenge, do I have what it takes to build a Stanley Cup winning team through a fantasy draft? Oh, we definitely need hero rating in the game, though. We do. Bunny, we're fine. We won't have fighting on too crazy high, but turn out the 2-line pass, of course, because what are we in the past? What are we in the past? Wheels, there's this whole different... It's a bitch to explain, but it's fine. God, who should we use? Who should we use as the basis for this, given that it's going to be a fantasy draft? I could use Atlanta. I mean, they're not going to be a thing again until, Winnipeg moves back. So... but Buffalo's got the goat head. It does. Let's go with Atlanta. Why not? Why not? It gave us the 22nd overall pick to start. That's rough. That's rough. It did give the St. Louis Blues the first overall pick. 2 teams that are hidden by my webcam, by the way, Washington and San Jose. I'll leave it. We ended up with the 22nd. That's fine. That is fine. So who is available to us here then? We want to go sort by attribute. Well, Peter Forsberg's still available. Probably a good idea to take Peter Forsberg. As much as I'd love to take Jaromir Jagr or any others. We're going Peter Forsberg. 100%. And yes, I know I could have changed the randomness of what pick we ended up with. I'm cool with the pick we ended up with. Yeah, no, we have to take Peter Forsberg. Although for goalies, yeah, we got to take Peter Forsberg. We're taking Peter Forsberg. So Joe Thornton ended up being the #1 overall pick to St. Louis. Paul Kariya still ended up back in Anaheim. Bertor's a Ranger. That's gross. Todd Bertuzzi went fit to Colorado. Rob Blake. Hasek to New Jersey. Lemieux to Toronto. Alfie to Buffalo. Sakic to the Kings. Naslund ended up going to Vancouver anyway. Ed Belfour to Boston. Chuck to Minnesota. Jaguar to Florida. Luongo went to Phoenix. Heatley to Chicago. Dude, Dan Cloutier went in the first round? What? And Jagr went 30th. Okay. Fair enough. So let's see. Best player left available, Hayduk, or we look at someone... Oh, Hobby Bulin. Nikolai Hobby Bulin, Stanley Cup winning goaltender. I mean, goalies, from my recollection, mattered in this game. I mean, getting like LeCavalier to work alongside Forsberg would be pretty great, but I think now is the time to take a goalie of the caliber of Nikolai Hobby-Bulin. But look at how many good goalies there are, though. That's a lot of good goalies. You know? Oh, Forsberg and Hayduk, though, the Colorado connection. Sundin, Lindros. Man, Forsberg and Hayduk could work so well together, though. They could. Cavalier and Forsberg could be insane, too. I'm going to go for my favorite player that's on the board here for the highest rateds. My favorite out of the bunch. And clearly it's the Michael Jordan of hockey, as he was once called. We're going for Vinny LeCavalier to work with Forsberg. Let's see, Pavel Bure went to Phoenix. Obviously not going to list off every single name here. Pronger went to Carolina. Matt Sundin, Florida Panther. Hayduk went all the way to Ottawa. Patrick Marleau to Boston. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. Marian House off the board to New Jersey. Hobby Bullen almost made it to the third round. He went 29th. It is a snake draft as well. So St. Louis, just their second pick. Ended up with Peter Bondra. So let's see. Yeah, there's still some damn good goalies left available. We're at 88 overall for forwards or just outright skaters. One more round without a goalie? Or do we take one of the 89s? I don't want to risk it too much with goalies. I mean, for hockey fans everywhere, we got to do it. Kevin Weeks. Kevin Weeks, let's do it. Dimitra to St. Louis, I mean, that's perfect. Chris Drury to Colorado, also perfect. Samsonov, Deadmarsh. I would have liked to have ended up with either of them. Marty St. Louis went to Buffalo. Solani to Calgary. Murray to Ottawa. Eric Lindros. Wow, Eric Lindros didn't go until the third round, huh? Interesting. Brian Leach is off the board. Steve Yzerman. He is old at this point, but goes to Washington. All right. Not too worried about goalies anymore. So for skaters, ooh. Tough to say no to Scott Niedermayer. I'd love a third forward to go with Forsberg and LeCavalier, but it's really tough to say no to Scott Niedermayer. We need that stalwart defenseman. Chris Chelios. Let's go with Scott Niedermayer. We need a good defenseman. We do. Let's see. Any other like really surprising names? Yashin to Montreal. Brett Hull to Vancouver. Chelios ended up in Buffalo. I feel like Buffalo is going to have a really old team. I might be wrong, but it's kind of what it's feeling like. All right. Round number 5. Obviously, we don't really need a backup goal yet. Another forward would be nice. God, I could have ended up with Forsberg, Tanguay, and Hayduk, huh? I mean, Tanguay would work really well on the wing. He'd technically be on his off wing, but he would work out really well. Oh, my boys, though. Peter Sikora and Zdeno Chara. Fuck. Don't make me choose. Don't make me choose between the two. Dude, Niedermayer and Chara defensively, though? Jesus Christ. We're doing it. We're doing it. I hope I still end up with Peter Sikora. I do. We'll see. How could I not, as a Bruins fan? Takes the Zdeno Chara. The Bruins ended up taking Miroslav Shatan, which is really weird because, yeah, makes sense. Like Ron Francis off the board. Geometrically to Chara, indeed. All right, round number 6. Yes, he's still there. Peter Sikora, come on down. That worked out really, really well. Really, really well. Let's see, is the name quality not dying off, but starting to drop down. No disrespect to one Alexander Daigle. Tanguay went to the Rangers. All right. Let's see. Yeah, goalies are really holding at 85s now. All right. Let's see. Trevor Linden, Michael Hanzus tied for the 2 highest rated players left. It seems like a good time to take an 86. We'll go for Trevor Linden. Right? Right. Let's go for Trevor Linden. Let's do it. The big names. Any other big names? Patrick Stefan went to Buffalo. Nat Domicelli. Legend. Thrashers legend. Oh, man. Rob Niedermeyer was on the board. I should have been paying attention. The Ducks taught us that was the way to win a cup. Couple of 85s left. And an 86 still in Hanzus. I don't really know why he's still on the board, but I will gladly take advantage. All right. Let's get moving here. We got a lot of rounds to go. 85's highest dudes left. That is true. A lot of teams might be drafting futures. Although you can't sort by potential. You can sort by potential. Well, we'll keep that in mind for later. Holy shit. We'll keep that in mind for later. For now, I still want to win a cup this year. Let's go for Derek Morris. I like Derek Morris. We'll go for him. Matthew Schneider is still there, too. Chara, Niedermeyer, Morris, and Schneider as our top 4. I mean, Thomas Caberlet is there, too. Scott Stevens. But yeah, we'll go for Matthew Schneider. Why not? Why not? Mellenby's still there, too, the final 85, so he'll be able to work on the second line with Linden. Works. No problem. Quick and easy. For the 84s, Mark Messier is there. If only I was the Canucks. Danny Briere, too. Let's go with Caberlet. Let's go with Caberlet. It looks like we're going to be able to round out our defense pretty quickly here. We technically need one more defenseman. I wish Briere was still there. If we were looking at a forward, I mean, Bobby Holik is the highest rated dude left. Definitely not taking Matt Cook. Let's go for Bobby Holik. I feel like we're building a pretty decent team. And now it would kind of make sense to get Scott Stevens to round out that defense, wouldn't it? It would make sense. Let's do it. This defense is going to be absolutely tremendous. So now forwards. Definitely the emphasis on forwards. Vinny Prospel, Mark Messier. I want to go below an 82. Ruslan Fedotenko. Ruslan Fedotenko. You got to go for a guy who can show up in a Game 7. We're going for Fedotenko. Dude, Adrian Aucoin is still there, huh? Let's go for Vinny Prospel next. I do wonder when the AI are going to start going for the prospects. But for now, I'm just enjoying the fact that we're building a dynamite team. Damn. All right, who else is there for the 82s? Again, Messier is still there, even though we know he's old as hell. Mike Greer is there. Radim Verbata. Ducky Gilmore, Mike Knuble. In terms of potential... yeah, the high potentials are still there. Not as many, though. Looks like they've started to go off the board. Let's go for Jason Spezza. Because it's Jason Spezza. You know? If we go back to highest overalls. I mean, Mark Messier is old as hell at this time. But we'll go for him. He's still an effective player. Yeah, I have to be going after prospects now, right? Yeah, no, still not so much. Oh my god, Rick Nash is still there. I mean, I'm taking Rick Nash. I get the chance to draft Rick Nash. I'm doing it. Even if he technically didn't have the highest potential of the bunch, it's Rick by God Nash. All right, finally, the 84 is off the board. What else do we have for forwards here? Mike Knuble, Yannick Perreault, face-off god. Scott Thornton. I'll let my Bruins bias shine through and go for Mike Knuble. Mike Danton just went off the board. Christ. Now no one's taking Andre Markov. In what world does Chuck Kobasu have more potential than Rick Nash? The world of NHL 2004, baby. That's the world. Which is exactly why we're going to take Chuck Kobasu. All right, I did just notice some goalies go off the board. Yeah, now's the time to get a backup goalie. And you know who it's going to be? 99 potential, Rick DiPietro. He's got to be the backup. Gotta be. We could go for Raycroft and Ryan Miller as well. Let's see, in terms of forwards... we'll go ahead and take Scott Thornton as well. We'll get some grit. It's going to be interesting, right? 23 players now. It's the 24th round. Raycroft is still there. Shout out to Ender, by the way. New job, Roger County Mart on Saturday. Any advice? Try not to mentally die. That's my response. Let's take Andrew Raycroft here. And is there a goalie with a super high potential? Briz and Ryan Miller. Don't sleep with your boss. That's also good advice. All right, so we are at the maximum for goalies. That's fine. So in terms of overall, Andre Markov. We have 6 defensemen. I don't know if it'll let me take any more defensemen. Dave Andrechuk, Adam Oates, Nick Antropov, Darcy Tucker. Darren McCarty was there too. Might as well take Andrew Castles. I mean, highest rated dude left available. Have the AI finally started looking at high potential players? Still not so much. I mean, go for Darren McCarty. Get a face puncher in there. Love ourselves some Darren McCarty. Okay, now a lot of quality has fallen off the board. Now might be a good time to go for more potential than anything. Down to 75s. Freaking Bob Bugner's in the mix, for God's sakes. Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Yeah, now time to cheese it for potentials. Sean Morrison, come on down. Jared Stoll, come on down. All right, a lot of the high potential guys are off the board now. Not all of them, though. Is that Trent Hunter? Must be. Let's take Trent Hunter. How many rounds? Sheesh. Take Mike Commodore. How many rounds? Bruno St. Jacques still there. We'll take him with this 94 potential. Why not? All right, now the potentials have really fallen off too. 70 overall is now the highest left. Oh God. Whew. 90. Chris Dingman. Trent Whitfield, Mark Rycroft. Give me a real good face puncher. Give me a real good face puncher. Who do we got for top face punchers left? Scott Parker, Jody Shelley. We're gonna take Scott Parker. There we go. All right, so Scott Parker was our final pick. We made it, everybody. We made it. So let's take a look then. I need to double check if call-ups and send-downs are a proper thing, and they're not. So what the hell is this fantasy drafted team going to look like? If we go best lines, Peter Forsberg, Andrew Castles, Trevor Linden is what it goes for, best lines. That's interesting. It's probably not how I'd set it up. Our goalies, by the way, Kevin Weeks and Andrew Raycroft. Second line is Scott Thornton, Mark Messier, Peter Sikora. Third line, okay, yeah, we can't have Vinny LeCavalier on the third line with Vinny Prospel and Scott Mellenby. We can't do that. Fourth line, Fedotenko, Hanzus, and Holik. I mean, that's an insane amount of depth, but come on now. The defense, Niedermeyer and Stevens. We cheesed that a little bit. Charon, Derek Morris, Matthew Schneider, Thomas Caberlet. The defense is unreal. But I do want to change up the forward lines a bit. Vinny LeCavalier needs to be that top line center. He just has to be. Is there anybody else? Ooh, Prospel or Mellenby on that top line would really work out well. Just in terms of having another shooter. Like have that line just be absolutely stacked. 87 scoring for Mellenby. Or is that just, oh, that's the overall that we have. Never mind. All right, let's get Scott Mellenby up there. Or Trevor Linden. Obviously, line editing has come a long way since these days. We're going to go Hanzus over Messier for obvious reasons. I mean, Messier is a very old man at this point. And then to round out that line, Prospel makes a lot of sense too, even over Linden. So let's get Vinny Prospel in there over Scott Thornton. I do agree we probably do need a face puncher. Castles, Linden. Get Fedotenko on that line instead of Thornton. Now, we do have a couple of hard hitters in Thornton and Holik. If we were to sit Messier, Mike Knubel, who's an 81, Darren McCarty at a 77, Rick Nash at a... Jesus Christ, we might be sitting Rick Nash. And then Scott Parker is like the ultimate face puncher. I mean, if we were to sit Messier for Darren McCarty and then just put Bobby Holik at center, all three of them have the hammer. Heavy, heavy hitters. Pretty good. Third line's well-rounded. You know, I think we did pretty well. I think we did. That's a hell of a team. That is one hell of a team here in Atlanta. I don't know if I am able to look at the other team's lines right now. If we go to trade players, though, we can kind of see what they ended up with. Sort player by attributes. So Anaheim's top 4 players ended up being Correa, Arnott, Walker, and Kozlov. Boston ended up with Patrick Marleau, Shatan, Hatcher, Mark Johnson. Whew, Buffalo. Alfie, Amani, San Luis, and Chelios is their big 4. Calgary with Madano, Solani, Langenbrunner, and Wes Walls. Jesus. Kovalev, Pronger, Oslunch, Neuendijk. That's an old team for Carolina. Heatley, Shanahan, Halfline, Team McCammon. All wingers. Don't worry about it. Chicago's got it covered. Colorado's got Bertuzzi, Drury, Eric Daze, Radek Bonk. Columbus with Lidstrom, Jovanovski. That's going to be a very strong defensive team. Dallas? Am I wrong to view Dallas that way? No disrespect to Ryan Smith, but if he's your best player. Troy's got Pekka, Recchi, Leach, and Ralston. Quite a Bruins theme there for the top 4 outside of Mike Pekka. Edmonton. Some of these teams ended up being really interesting. Some high skill with Gabrick, but I don't know if they have anybody that can hang with him. Sundin, Morrow, Comney, Boris Mironov in your top 4 for Florida. Yikes. They must have spec'd into a goalie really early on. LA looks pretty good. Just off the top 4 alone. Minnesota. Kachuk, Lindros, Zednik, and Kenny Johnson. Maybe Kim Johnson, actually. Whew. Fedorov, Nolan, Yashin, Sammy Kapanen. Montreal's not looking that bad. O'Neill, like one Primo Conroy. Yes, TK, it is a fantasy draft. Deadmarsh, Hossa, Tones, Jelena, New Jersey. I think we compare with most teams very, very well. I think we might win this. Or somehow we'll be absolutely tragic. But in terms of comparing with other teams' top skaters, we look pretty damn good. Pittsburgh, though. Damn, that's a hell of a top line for the Penguins. Yager, Eliash, Mike Sillinger is the top line for the Sharks. Jesus. Go-to Subway sandwich. I haven't been to the Subway in like 10 years. Cold cut combo. Thornton, Dimitra, Bondruk, Gagne. Damn, St. Louis. We'll be seeing you in the Cup final, St. Louis. Damn, it's got Dallas Drake as one of the top players. Toronto, Lemieux, McInnes, Gonchar, and Brindamore. That is an old team. Which is funny because the Leafs at the time were an old team. Naslin, Palfy, York, and Brett Hull. Gillen, Hansen, Carter, Steve Eiserman, Tom Poti. I think we got this. I can't help but think that. I think we are going to be okay. Well, let's do it. The good news is, too, since we're running on an emulator, this will go pretty fast. We get a trade-off for... Ooh. Messier, Niedermeyer, and Bobby Holik is who the webcam's covering. For Kalinin, Shatan, and Holmqvist, that is an absolute no. I'm not trading Scott Niedermeyer. All right, let's see. How did we do in our first month? How did we do?
Oh, we're doing this again?
Oh my god, we were bad. Shout out to Ted for the 10 months. 4, 5, and 2. Not a great start. 4, 5, and 2. Is it too early to make changes? How the hell did Mike Knuble end up on my top line? Is this, do we have injuries? What the hell happened to my lines? Please, God, I can't even check to see if we have injuries. Sheesh. Well, I'm just going to go best lines, and we'll get Peter Forsberg up there at least. It definitely looks like we have an injury. Nope, it's just that Kevin Weeks is tired. Huh. Hey, remember when goalies had fatigue? Remember that fun little feature from 20 years ago, EA? Anyway. In fairness, I might be doing myself a disservice here by not going game by game. Why the hell would I ever take this trade? It's Andrew Raycroft is the other part of it, by the way. Why the hell would I ever do that? No. We're trying to fleece me. Shout out to Ripley, by the way, for the 16 months. Appreciate you. As I think we had a slightly better month. I think. Like, face value-wise, it looked better. We're currently in 9th at 12, 11, and 2, because we have no ties in the setup. Oof. Gotta be honest, I am a little bit scared. Weeksy he's tired. He's tired. Oh, Rick Nash and Jason Spezza have drawn into the lineup, apparently. Looks like Niedermeyer might be hurt. Messier going best lines upon the top line now. So either we are dealing with immense fatigue because we have an old team or a fair amount of injuries. Mike Knuble, Ruslan Fedotenko, and Chuck Kobasu for Adrian Acoin, Chris Kolanos, and Jonathan Girard. So losing Knuble and Fedotenko would cause us to lose a bit of depth, but it would improve our defensive depth quite a bit. I'm still going to say no. Holik, DiPietro, and Bruno Saint-Jacques for Desjardins, Orpik, and Giroux. We'll say no to that as well. Prospel, Mellenby, and Kobasu. That's a no. They're swarming like vultures because we're underperforming. Trying to absolutely fleece us. I see what's going on. I see what's going on here. December 1st. Where are we at here? Hey, we're up in the second place in the Eastern Conference. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. On 49 points. Much better. 7 wins in our last 10. Now we're cooking. The Thrashers are cooking. I always believed. Always. Trevor Linden for Sheldon Surrey. No. Jason Spezza and Scott no. Absolutely not. Also, no. Jesus. I mean, in fairness, they are offering me players that have potential. I'm just not looking for players with potential. Ooh. We might have to think about this. We might have to. Scott Thornton, Matthew Schneider, and Derek Morris is the one that's hidden for Radek Bonk, Scott Young, I'm pretty sure, and Daniel Sedin. Sacrifice defensive strength to bring in offensive help in the form of Radek Bonk. I'm going to say no. That was tempting. It was very tempting. But I do prefer that we have defense as a bit of a strength right now for us. We are the third best team in the NHL. Fourth, though, in the East, because we're not a division leader. That's how the standings worked. So we're still in a pretty good spot here. If we look at our player stats, by the way. I just wanted us. There we go. Let's take a look. Goals scoring leader. 24 is Forsberg. We don't have the highest scoring team right now. A lot of penalty minutes. Not ideal that we have some defensemen outscoring the likes of Vinny Lecavalier. So maybe we are a bit too defensively sound and need a little bit more offense. So we'll keep that in mind. Should we get any trade offers here in the next little bit? Again, we have this designed. It's just a one-year challenge to mess around. Spezza, Parker, and Peter Sikora. Well, I can't trade Peter Sikora. I need help. So no. Lecavalier and Chara. For Oleg Kvasha, the deal there is Marian Hossa, who has a pretty damn good potential. It's like, hey, you want Marian Hossa, don't you? It's like, yes, I do, but not for Vinny Lecavalier. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. We had a rough middle of the month. Also, don't you like that you can check how you directly compare with people? All right, I'm not sure when the deadline is. It's got to be soon, if it even had the deadline. If it didn't, we could be in a little bit of trouble. Fourth in the NHL still. 85 points. Still looking pretty good to make the playoffs here. I still wonder about our offense, but let's see. It's been a while since a trade. I think we would have gone past the deadline. Never mind, I lied. All right, hopefully it didn't bring us past deadline day. It didn't. Okay, so actually, really quickly, let's go take a look here. Player stats on the season. Look at our boys here in Atlanta. Got Forsberg on 33 goals. The freaking point gap between Forsberg and other people. Ripley, it wasn't actually this fast. I'm on an emulator, so it speeds it up quite a bit. Dude, our second highest point getter is Derek Morris. Yeah, that's not going to be sustainable come playoff time. I need to get a dynamic duo for Forsberg going. In terms of the goalies, obviously save percentages were much lower at the time. Kevin Weeks hasn't been particularly great, though. If we look league-wide, let's look at save percentage here. And then guys that have played a fair amount of games. So right now, the best goalie in the league, he had Ahonen on 16 games, 58 games for Sean Burke at an 883. So you want to be around an 880. And Kevin Weeks was at an 877. So Weeks actually hasn't been that bad. I just think we need that little bit of extra goal scoring touch. And actually, let's go see who has been one of the top goal scorers in the league. Oh, go figure. It's Milan. I should have drafted Hajduk. But I went for Le Cavalier instead. Hajduk, Daze, Palfi, all over 50. Vancouver, Colorado, Ottawa. Okay. So I should go look at the standings here. So realistically, who's at the very bottom here? I like to have there's a Z for cannot make playoffs. I really like that. Obviously, now you see a Z in the NHL standings on like 24. It's, hey, you won the conference. I really like that they indicate who can't make the playoffs anymore. They should bring that back. They should absolutely bring that back. So Columbus, Philadelphia, Edmonton, Boston, and Tampa. Right. Z eliminated. Indeed. All right. So let's go double check who was on the Blue Jackets that we might want. Lidstrom, Jovanovski. They didn't really have any of the top goal scorers. What about Philly? Even in the fantasy draft, Columbus sucks. Well, hey. Was Bill Guerin up there at all for goals? Season stats. Yeah, Bill Guerin's got 46 goals this year. And if I need someone to assault someone in practice, he's perfect. So what would it take to get old Billy Guerin? And also, how can I look at... How the hell do I sort by goalies? Sort by position? Please. It doesn't look like you're sorted by position. Ah, there we go. We do know that Raycroft was struggling like hell. So we can move on from Raycroft. And then if we sort by potential... Kobasu and Raycroft for Bill Guerin. What do you think? Nope. What if I throw in Sean Morrison? Shit. What if I give you Kobasu? And... Please sort by attribute. Thank you. And... What if I give you Old Man Messier? Shit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull off a trade, man. I don't know if I am. I don't know how difficult they are about trying to pull off trades. That looked pretty fair and accurate compared to what we were getting offered for certain players. But apparently not. What if I give you Mark Messier, Chuck Kobasu, and Andrew Castles? No. All right. You know, I'm going to have faith in my team. Despite what those prior trade attempts might tell you, I'm going to have faith in the boys. We drafted this team with purpose and intent, and they are good enough to make the first round of the playoffs to take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. The second best team in the NHL. Shit. We ended up finishing 7th. Well, we made it, but yeah, we get to play Toronto. Yikes. Carolina, Ottawa, Toronto, Atlanta, New Jersey, and Montreal, the New York Rangers, and the Washington Capitals. Also, ooh, the question marks. The floating question marks. All right, I am very worried. Very, very worried. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, outside of Peter Forsberg, our second highest point getter was defenseman Derek Morris. Oh, boy. Sikora only scored 9 goals. We better hope we can be defensively sound. That's how we were built, because that's a lot of penalties. Jesus Christ. What kind of Franken roster did we build? My goodness. We'll go best lines as the game defines it. I'm trusting you, coach. At least Kevin Weeks will be in. I am horrified for how this is going to go. But, yeah. Hey, round number 1 against the Leafs. If I don't believe you can get the quicker sim. You just have to calendar sim at this stage. Let's see. We lose game 1 by the score of 4-2. We lose game 2, 5-1. I thought we had such a good team. I thought we had a really, really good team. At least we avoid the sweep. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. We go all the way just to lose. The New York Rangers win the Stanley Cup. We almost reverse swept them just to lose in game 7. Son of a bitch. Because the Rangers won it in 7 over Colorado. Colorado still just an absolute wagon in this era. The Coyotes apparently went on a really good run. Yeah, the New York Rangers. So the Leafs just ended up falling in the next round anyway. Damn it. Damn it. Well, I'm not really all that surprised. We noticed some goal scoring issues. And well, if we take a look. Oh, good. Forsberg just didn't show up. Well, that was the worst case scenario. 2 goals in 5 games for Peter Forsberg. That would do it. That would explain why we just disappeared. Kevin Weeks was also absolutely atrocious. Well, I thought I had built a great team. Turns out the Rangers are what a great team looks like with friggin' Martin Brodeur. Maybe we should have spec'd into having a great goalie. God damn it. God damn it. Brodeur was awesome. Kovalchuk, Parrish, Domfus, Zubov. I mean, they were heavily bolstered by having a Hall of Fame level goalie in net. Imagine that. A game where having a good goaltender actually matters. It wouldn't be modern NHLs. But this one works pretty well, huh? Let's see. Glenn Murray won the Hart. Glenn Murray won the Hart. You'll love to see it. He also won the Art Ross. Sergei Fedorov won the Richard. The Norris went to Sergei Gonchar. Calder went to UC Markkanen in Los Angeles. Vezina to Dominic Hasek in New Jersey. Jeff Sanderson won the Bing. The Selke to John Madden Football. Conn Smythe to Mark Parrish. How the hell didn't Brodeur win it? Jennings to Sean Burke. Masterton to Kovalev. The Lester B. Pearson, which of course has since changed names. Owen Nolan. And the Jack Adams to Mark Crawford. Because they actually had the coaching license in the game at the time. It was a better time. It was a better time, everybody. But at least I got Atlanta to the playoffs, and I actually got them to win a game. Something the actual Thrashers never did, but they might once they get the team back from Winnipeg, because that's probably going to happen, apparently.